Welcome back to Real Estate in the Low Country. I am joined now by Daniela Swickero and Rick Hollyfield of the Hilton Head Life. And guys, I know you pride yourself on staying cutting edge in the luxury market and
very much so,
bringing that back locally. So to that end, you were just in a conference, I think, in California, the Inman conference. Tell us about that. What is that for those of us that don't know?
Yeah, so the Inman conference is something that happens actually a couple of times a year. One of those that is annual is Inman San Francisco, which interestingly enough, next year it'll be in Vegas. So that's fascinating, but we'll be going to that as well.
Okay.
But the Inman news source is essentially the cutting edge news source for the real estate industry. So we follow it very, very closely. We are sort of like the highest tier members of that, so we get access to all that great information. So it's an awesome resource in and of itself, but they do this event called Connect. There's one in San Francisco every year, and there's one in New York every year. There's also a luxury version. So we will be attending that in October. Super excited about that, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But the reason that we go to these things, the reason that we try and stay out in the forefront of everything is because we love what we do. We're really good at what we do, and we strive constantly to get better, because just because you're good doesn't mean you can't constantly improve. And these conferences, this specific one of the best ways to do it. We learned so much, and we are so excited to bring it back.
Okay, so give us a tidbit. What did you learn?
You know, one of the interesting things that happens here is that we are in a network of top producing luxury agents all around the world. And so with that, iron sharpens iron, and we go to be sharpened. So we learned a few great things while we were there. One is a neat stat that Gilded Island is the top 5 places in the country to buy second home real estate, which is really outstanding, or investment property real estate.
That's true.
So that's something that I don't think that our market really understands or knows, and we just want to make sure to broadcast that. So that's one of the important things that we learned.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, Forbes just solidified that fact the other day. They had an article exactly on that thing. So
Yep, exactly right.
it's absolutely true. So let's stay with luxury and talk about how our market is doing right now.
It's doing extremely well. We've got a lot of buyers.
Yeah, we are. The market is typically, as we talked about a few weeks ago, the market is typically a little slow in the summertime, but now right now it's very robust. The economic markets are doing very, very well, and so that brings buyers here. And we may have touched on before, kind of this area is a reward purchase. And when people are doing well financially, they think of this area and they compare us to other markets, and right now we're doing great.
Well, and again, we talked about this last time too, but you know, all the awards that we're getting don't hurt. You know,
Not at all.
Best Island, all those things just make it even more appealing for people to buy here.
Exactly right. And really to that end, you know, we get a lot of questions about where is the luxury market as far as how close are we back to peak pricing, and what's the relevance of that percentage and all of that, because we know most of the country is already back at peak pricing, if not exceeding that. So we're not there. We really like to think of it as though our entire market is still on sale. So you do have the return to what we would consider peak pricing of the buyers that would already have been in our market. That is a market recovery. We have a completely different thread at work here as well that is bolstering our market, and that is buyers who prior to this have never considered Hilton Head. They maybe weren't aware of it, or they didn't realize what was really here for them.
Okay.
So we have multiple threads of economic activity that is bringing these prices up, and just because it's on sale now doesn't mean that's going to last. Basic supply and demand. That demand goes up,
Yeah,
that price is going to go up. That's exactly right.
So I know you want to get to a listing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we've got a great new listing. Yeah, we're actually really excited about this one. It's a little different than what we usually do, so it's a great way to kind of flex our muscles a little bit. It's in Sun City. It's a beautiful house.
Okay.
The address is 20 Fenwick, and a wonderful, wonderful seller who built it. She actually lives next to her sister, so they sort of mirrored houses, and they specifically chose this lot for the incredible view that you get, a long view across the lake there. So it's just a beautiful piece of property. It's extremely serene, and we're very proud to be representing it.
Yeah,
and it's been showing a lot, so we expect it to sell very soon.
Yeah. Well, you guys are famous for that, quick turnarounds, right?
We do our best.
You said it first, so we'll go with that.
Exactly.
Perfectly. Thank
You said it, not us.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
No, we'd say it too.
yeah. It's always great to see you guys, and thanks for keeping
Thank you.
yourselves on that cutting edge and sharing all that information with us.
Happy
We
to
really
do it.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
very
Betsy.
much.
Yeah, and we'll be right back with more.